And we are back after yet another day where football just delivered on a whole nother level. Firstly, Tunisia able to defeat the defending world champions France, albeit due to a very, very controversial VAR decision that thankfully didn't end up mattering. But if it did, wow, there would have been some major questions asked about that decision. While that was going on, another upset took place, in my opinion anyway, as Australia were able to defeat Denmark, meaning that they also progressed through to the knockout stages. So France and Australia both getting through from the first group games, and Denmark and Tunisia sadly bowing out. And just when you thought that was as dramatic as it could get, we were quite literally 90 seconds away from a team being eliminated on yellow cards. Now, I know social media sort of had a meltdown about this last night, but this actually happened in Russia 4 years ago. Senegal were knocked out of the World Cup on yellow cards, and Japan went through at the expense of them. So it has happened before, and it almost happened again, but absolute chaos all night long. Argentina obviously playing very well, but then the penalty saved by Szczesny, and you'd have thought Poland would have learnt from that, but no, they just continued to sit back, and Argentina went 1 and 2-0 up. While that was going on, Mexico went 1 and 2-0 up themselves, meaning that it was absolutely dead level. Poland were ahead by 3 yellow cards, and then what happens? Poland start getting yellow cards, and it's just like, oh my God, they might throw this away on yellow cards, but thankfully, Saudi Arabia were able to get a goal themselves, which then obviously meant that Poland were going to go through on overall goal difference. But it was so tight that all that Saudi Arabia goal did was essentially waste 30 seconds. Because if Mexico still only scored 1 goal, they would have gone through on goals scored. So absolutely chaotic scenes. Exactly what you'd hope to see from a World Cup. And hopefully it continues today, because we're in for yet another day where so many different things could possibly happen. Potential world champions and former world champions could still go out even today. So hopefully today lives up to the expectations that we have set for it. Hopefully it can live up to everything that happened yesterday. And yeah, let's get into it, because we do have a prediction series to get on with here. And after all the chaos that did happen yesterday, makes you wonder how hard it might actually be to pull this off. So let's run through what last night's results did to the series, and then let's look ahead to another day of fun. So these were, as always, the games that were played yesterday. These were my predictions. These were the results. And yeah, we got all the 2 matches in Group D wrong, and I was a bit disappointed with Denmark, to be honest. I expected a lot more from them. They've had a very, very poor World Cup off the back of reaching the Euros semi-final last summer. France, again, I know it was their reserve team, but they did bring on Mbappe and Dembele and whatnot. And to be fair, you just have to say fair play to Tunisia, because they thoroughly deserved that victory yesterday. And yeah, those are my only real complaints about that. And my only complaints about the games in Group C is that I got the 2 scorelines correct but assigned them to the wrong games, which is really, really annoying. Means that we scored 2 points instead of 6. But all in all, it is a matchday score of 2 once again, bringing the tournament total now up to 23. As always, let me know how you got on, and let's get into today's action, because like I said, almost anything can happen today. What cannot happen, sadly, is Canada cannot get through no matter what happens. Morocco and Croatia are both on 4 points. Canada are on 0. So whatever happens, Canada are not going to be going through. That is why we're going to talk about that game first. The only way Morocco can actually drop out is if they lose by more than Croatia lose to Belgium. So that is the only way Morocco go out. They can afford to draw, and obviously if they win, they are through regardless. And considering the fact that I think it's more than likely Canada probably change most of, if not their whole team, they're already out. It's their first experience at a World Cup. I think they'll want to give the rest of the squad an appearance. And I think Morocco are obviously going to still go for the win. So I think Morocco do take this one. I'm going to go for 2-0 to Morocco in that one. But we shall see. Canada will obviously give it everything like they have in both of their other games. And I feel like Canada have deserved a little bit better than what they've had in this World Cup. But we'll see. I have gone for them ending on 0 points. But you never know. As for the other game, this is probably the biggest game of the day in my opinion. Mainly just because it's between 2 massive European nations with a lot of recent history. in terms of performing well at major tournaments, and one of them is going out today. Belgium have to win, period. There is no scenario where Belgium draw and get through, I don't think, unless Canada absolutely thrash Morocco. So yeah, it's very, very unlikely that Belgium don't go through unless they win. And obviously Croatia only need a draw, and obviously if Croatia win, they're through regardless, and probably as group winners. So massive, massive pressure on this game. I just don't see anything other than a Croatia win. The way you've got to look at these first two games in the group is Belgium are massively out of form and Croatia are massively in form. And both sides have aging teams, yes, but the experienced players from Croatia are performing at a much higher level than the experienced players from Belgium. Now, it looks like Lukaku could be back from the start today, so that may make a difference. They desperately need it to. Otherwise, I think they're just bowing out with a whimper here, and that will probably signal the end for Roberto Martinez's time as Belgian manager. I'm going to be a little bit crazy, and I'm going to go 3-0 Croatia, just purely based off of that Canada performance. It's the best I've seen Croatia play probably since the 2018 World Cup, to be honest. And if they play anywhere close to that today, and Belgium play anything like they have in the first two games, then Croatia take this one relatively easily. Belgium bow out, Croatia win the group, and Morocco sit in second. On to the other group, where there is a possibility that all four teams go through and all four teams go out. I've seen a lot of people saying that Spain are basically through and they can just play whatever team they want and they'll go through. Costa Rica beat Germany and Japan beat Spain. Costa Rica and Japan go through. Now, obviously, that's a massive ask on Costa Rica to beat Germany, but Japan beat Germany and Costa Rica beat Japan. So why can't Costa Rica beat Germany? You know what I mean? So I don't think it's as cutthroat and as simple as that just to say, oh, Spain are basically through. I don't think Luis Enrique will see it that way. So we shall see. We'll start with Costa Rica and Germany because obviously it is the least likely scenario that Costa Rica get through from this position. And the Germans need to put in a massive performance today to make sure that they do get through. They're obviously going to be hoping for a favour from Spain in terms of beating Japan. But they're going to have to do everything in their power. They're going to have to go for goals from the start. I think it's going to be quite a fun game to watch, Germany-Costa Rica, because yeah, they can't afford to assume Spain are going to beat Japan, so they're going to have to try and play for the goal difference. So I'm going to go 5-0 Germany. That may again sound a bit harsh on Costa Rica, but if Spain can score 7 against Costa Rica, Germany at their best can definitely score at least 5. So I'm going to go 5-0 Germany, and we'll see what happens with that. That will not be enough for them if the result in the other game doesn't go the way they would hope, but you never know. Anything could happen at this World Cup, as we've seen so far. And finally, it is Japan against Spain. And yeah, I think Enrique will make a couple of changes. I don't think it'll be as drastic as potentially, like I said, Canada will make. But I still think he'll make some changes. They want to give his squad some rotation, give other players an opportunity to show what they're capable of. Japan obviously need to try and get the win. A draw potentially could be enough for them, but again, very unlikely that that's going to be the case. So we will see what is going to happen. Sorry, what am I on about? If Japan get a draw and Germany win, then Japan still get through. But it's very iffy around things like that. So Japan know what they need to get, but I still think Spain take it. I'm going to go 3-0 to Spain. I would love to give Japan a bit more of a fight in this, but from what I've seen of Spain in this tournament so far, when they get going, it's so hard to get the ball off them. And I know Japan are going to put all the effort they possibly can into this, but I just don't see it being enough today. I've just realised I've gone for 4 games today and I've gone for a clean sheet for one of the teams in all of them. So bold predictions all round from me today. We will see what is going to happen. And as always, let me know down in the comments your thoughts on my predictions as well as making your own predictions. Don't forget to like the video if you are enjoying this series. Subscribe if you are new around here. I'll be back tomorrow morning for the final day of the group stage. Thank you very much for watching.